Okay, we're heading to a Risting Factory. Let's just see what's in store. Empty hideout, find the loot. Therefore, I think that Glenn, probably a good choice for this one. He's always fantastic when you got these kinds of missions. Tyrese is coming along. I mean, he's just too much fun. It's too much fun not to. And then Herschel is our star hero. And of course, I'm giving him the Blaze Guard. Because it's an old man with a bazooka. Just fantastic, isn't it? To be fair, the Blaze Guard is an absolutely tip-top weapon. I've really been enjoying it. I think it looks great as well. I think the actual model for it in the game is absolutely fantastic. Oh, I know this one. Wow. You guys didn't die. Okay. Yeah, this is a bit of a toughie, this one. You have lots and lots of walkers on screen at once. I mean, doing something like that, just anything that will maybe control them a little bit, is a good idea. I'm just thinking about what I want to do. Can we get Glenn a charge point? No, we can't. Okay, that's good. Yeah, what do we suggest for this one? Well, I mean, I think that bringing Glenn along is a good idea. Herschel's leadership trait kind of enhances your melee characters anyway. You got to search these boxes. I mean, there's only 3 of them on the screen, so you don't have to go running around trying to find out which ones it is. You know which ones they are. You got a threat counter, so maybe bringing a massive bazooka along, not the best idea. I mean, really, I'm just doing it for the fun of it. But keeping that threat counter down, probably a good idea. Weapons that can reduce it, and there are a couple of things like the hunting bow for shooters. I've got the sawtooth blade there for Glenn, which is a sort of a legendary weapon. Problem is, you start off with some walkers very close to you. I mean, even holding on with your movement at first, just so you don't attract any attention. Maybe they come to you, you get Overwatch on them. That can be good. Anything that'll sort of slow them down is kind of a good idea as well. As you get to the later missions, you might want to consider things like using tools, flares and things to distract them, stun bombs to stun them. I know that's a tricky mission. It's a tough one to start off with. Can be tough. Get to the exit. Beware, death lurks behind every corner. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, swap that for that. The 7mm Harrier. I'm just a huge fan of that. We've got some humies here, some humans. I don't think we need to bring old Glen. Let us bring Outlaw Negan. Now, I don't often use him as a team member. So let's see. Let's just see how he does, shall we? Is this what we want to have? Yeah. Outlaw Negan. Obviously, a lot of people have switched onto him after last week, I think it was, when he was the star hero. Let's see how he serves as a team member rather than a leader. Thanks, mate. Okay, it looks like there's something just in that corner. I'm sure I just saw something. Yeah, there we go. Well, if we cripple these heroes, they're melee characters, they can't do anything, can they? He ain't going to be able to reach us. Should be able to just slam him into the wall, stun him. Let's do one thing at a time, shall we? Looks like we don't have much on the other side of that wall. I'm not going to open that door yet. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I thought that there would be a lot more. And there are. Let's get a cookie charged super attack. Oh, we can't reach. Thought we were going to be able to reach those guys right at the back. We can't. That's a bit of a lesson learned. Slow this goon down. I mean, obviously we don't actually have to kill all of these things. We could just go through. If we want a cheeky way of getting these guys without upping the threat counter, we could always just leave some ranged characters by the gates where they can see the enemy, have them shoot on Overwatch. Obviously, if they shoot on Overwatch, it doesn't cause any noise. Let's create a debuff circle there. Yeah, that walker should go for Joe, right? He can get a bit of Overwatch. So last week we just, fully completed everything. We used the star hero. It was Outlaw Negan. That's now making everything so much tougher. Really is. Let's cripple this guy so that he can't get to us. Let's move a little farther along, and then hopefully Joe will go for that walker. Yes, he will. And then we just get out of there. So those kinds of missions, one thing that is always worth bearing in mind is, what's the mission? It's to get to the exit. It's not to kill everything that's in front of you. Yes, you've got a variety of walk types, tanks and armoured walkers and humans and everything. If you can just slide on by those and get to the exit, that's fine. You're going to have completed it with maximum stars. It's not about just massacring everything. Since there's a threat counter, maybe having the odd weapon or something to reduce the threat, or at least not make any more threat, is a good idea. Glenn could be useful, I guess. He could open those gates and then still have an action left. Could be that characters like Beta and Huntsman Daryl could sneak past the enemy. Okay. Get the loot and get out. I'm wondering if this is one of those ones where we've got box or something that needs opening over the space of a couple of turns. I think that's probably the case. So I'm going to bring a Yumiko. Just because that's what judging by what that says, I think that's what this kind of mission is. Okay, I was wrong. So it is one of those classic find the loot kind of ones. And maybe having a bunch of characters who are going to make a ton of noise and can't search those crates particularly quickly is not the best idea. Well. Okay, so a bit of advice would perhaps to do the exact opposite of what I've done here. Bring a quieter team. Glenn, I think, could really be a boon on this one. Don't want to go too far forward. I don't think there's any more walkers left. So right now we can do this, and who knows, maybe you get lucky and you find out exactly where the loot is right away, but you can't really rely on that. The exact opposite might happen. I think a running theme is, for these missions, being quiet is probably a good idea. He says, gunning down walkers with a machine gun. Well, no, it's not a machine gun, is it? It's a shotgun. But yeah, for all of these, it might be a good chance to practice your stealth. And having Herschel as a leader is kind of okay for that, because yes, he's a ranged character. Maybe you could give him a silent ranged weapon, like a crossbow or something. And part of his leadership ability is that he can weaken enemies, making them more vulnerable to melee attacks. Obviously, hitting something with a mace or an axe or a knife is silent, so you're not going to be bumping up those threat counters on these missions. Clear the room of the lurkers. Okay, so this one's... yeah, this one we're going to have no threat counter. I mean, it just sounds like killer walkers. Oh my gosh, yes, okay, I do know this one. Ooh. I mean, you just start off with walkers just able to get you right from the off. Setting those tanks alight is quite important. I find that going to one corner and turtling up, pretty good idea. Being able to set walkers alight when you get to the later levels and they're very tricky to take out, that's a good idea. When it gets into the much later missions and you really might find yourself struggling, then don't forget that you've got tools if you want to use those. I always like to save those mostly for guild wars, but yeah, if you're having a really good run on your challenge and you want to succeed, then use tools for that as well. You don't have to worry about being quiet. At least that's something. The walkers start close to you, but they tend to be on the side of the map and they tend to be quite bunched up. So maybe you can do things like just wait there with a mace and bat them back and knock out whatever is attacking you. They're pretty much just... yeah, there's not too many suggestions. They're bunched up, so weapons with a blast radius are good. You're definitely going to want to slow them down, because otherwise they're just going to get to you and they're just going to rip you apart. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. Find the loot and get out. Okay, find the loot. It looks like Glenn could well be a bit of a superstar for a lot of these missions. How about we lean into the quietness? Do we use Daryl's crossbow? Or do we use the golden crossbow? Both beautiful weapons. Well, I can't seem to find the golden crossbow, so we're using Daryl's. Is this how we want things to be? Yeah. Herschel looks kind of badass with a crossbow. I'll give him that. Okay. Oh, this one. There's a threat counter, and also we're going to have bodies pouring out from those twitching corpse piles. You can't really sort of spawn block that spawn point. I think that having Glenn is a real big help on this particular mission, just because you can do that. They're not going to be able to sort of gang up on you. That's 2 walkers per turn come out of the center of the map, plus whatever is built up through the threat counter. You kind of really want to get this mission done quickly. I mean, slowing down and setting walkers alight is usually just great advice for all maps, but for that, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. Too many fresh walkers are coming out. It's too small for you to be able to run away from walkers that are on fire. Sure, crippling them, it does help, but you're pretty much going to be rushing past walkers anyway. If you're really struggling, try something creative. Use beta, use Huntsman Daryl. Tyrese creating those big debuff circles, I guess that would be good. Oh, this one. I know this one. He says, like I didn't know it last time. Champion assault rifle, obviously with this new survival pass, code orange. There is a champion assault rifle that looks like a super soaker. Pretty good. I don't think that it's not a great selection of stuff that's available with this survival pass, but you're still going to get a ton of extra gold. That's worth its weight in. You know, all of the tokens, you know, the healing tokens, stuff like that. It's still definitely worth going for, even if we haven't got, you know, particularly fun items. The armor's okay. That super soaker, code orange, champion assault rifle is, I mean, it's champion assault rifle, which is it's a very good weapon. It's a unique weapon, but maybe not the most exciting of things. I honestly think that you get the best gear from the Guild War shop, and often from seasonal events as well. We had some amazing weapons in this seasonal event. So okay, are we back at the start? This is a challenging set of missions. Through the wire, what you can do is you can rope-a-dope the walkers. You can kind of keep them chasing after you. I think as long as you can set them light, slow them down, hit them en masse with multiple attacks. Definitely use ranged characters. I mean, Tyrese, I suppose, creating some debuff circles would be good. But I've always succeeded using ranged characters on that. Could be that as you get through, this is a tough set of missions, so as you get through, you might want to swap out Herschel for a more effective leader, Outlaw Negan, Sasha, Connie, you know, those kinds of characters. It's a tough one. It's a pretty tough set of missions. It's going to be a challenge, but if you've got any problems in particular, then let me know, and me or somebody else from the community will help you. In the meantime, good luck, and thank you for watching.